I'm sorry that I got here only in the fourth quarter. It's been my understanding that there's been an imposter teacher. My evil twin brother, Ronnie Edwards, I was told was here. I apologize for that. Ronnie is an escaped mental patient. And he kidnapped me earlier this year and held me hostage in his basement. I finally managed to free myself. I have some rope burns still. And he's now in federal custody. There's only one or two things going to happen to my twin brother, Ron. He's either going to go to the Bethesda, Maryland mental facility there and get evaluated and spend the rest of his life in an asylum, getting psychiatric help, or they're considering putting charges against him for kidnapping, at which point he's going to go to the federal prison in Danbury, Massachusetts. Either way, Ronnie will be incarcerated for the rest of his life in a and I would say a level 1 lockup. If you want to write a correspondence letter to Ron, otherwise known to you as the first Mr. Edwards, feel free, send me those letters and I'll forward them to the correctional facility. So, he's very savvy that way. Now, I'm very sorry that I got here so late because I don't know what Ron taught you. But if I know my brother will like the way I do, it had to do with serial murdering and kidnapping in general and murder in general. I'm guessing he talked to you about a guy named Nathan Lane Leopold. And what? There's two the college kids. Richard Loeb and Nathan Leopold. Did Ron go there?
Yeah.
Did he do his kidnapping of the Lindbergh baby? Just loves that stuff. So all I know is that when we did finally catch up with Ron, a team of federal agents and one division of SWAT, it took to take down the older Mr. Edwards. He's older by 1 minute because we're twins. He kept saying, he called me by my first name, Robert. He said, Rob. I'm trying to make his excuses, and I'm trying to do the things right, trying to teach him like you would. He said, don't forget to teach them about Richard Speck. I said, I can't go there. I'm a public school teacher. I will lose my job tomorrow. But in honor of Ronnie Edwards, I will complete your education of serial murdering because you don't know that this is the 50th anniversary of Richard Speck. I'm just going to say 2 minutes on Richard Speck, then I'm going to get serious. Then I'm going to actually teach. This was the front cover of Sunday's Chicago Tribune, not section 12, the front page. Richard Speck, because it's, one could say, the anniversary of his killings. I put the name on the board so you can Google Classroom at Richard Speck. Richard Speck in 1967 broke into a dormitory at the University of Illinois at Chicago, right down the street, and he killed 7 Filipino nurses with a knife. And he was considered to be a serial killer. And then he was put in prison for the rest of his life. When that happened, can you imagine being a girl, a young woman on a college campus at that time? I remember my mother talking about it, because my mother would have been in her 30s when that happened, a single woman walking the streets of Chicago. It was like one day, everybody's not locking their doors, everybody's got the screen door open, everybody's neighborly. The next day, they'd bolt the door, right? Because of the Richard Speck mentality. He was a nutcase psychopath that broke into a girls' dormitory, nursing students, no less, trying to do something noble with their lives, and he killed 7 Filipino nurses in one night. And he held them hostage, and he terrorized them, and he might even still be alive, because he was, incarcerated in 67. He would be an old man now. Last time I checked, he was still alive in federal prison. So that's just a side note as an homage to Ronnie Edwards. So, what? Oh, he did die? Oh, he died? No, it wouldn't have been that long ago. That's how funny my memory is, because I was going to say, the last time I ever heard of Richard Speck, he gave a news, remember those shows like 2020? Barbara Walters? He gave an interview on a national television broadcast. Is the last time I ever saw him. And an interview took place in jail. I was going to say it was about 5 years ago. Well, it was 21 years ago. He killed 8 students. Thank you, Clone Book, for keeping me honest. Holy cow. So anyway, because I know how you love death, dismemberment, blood, gore, and guts. So there you have it. All right, let's go to vocabulary. Now that I'm back, I'm assuming Ronnie didn't do any vocab too. All right, let's go to vocab. I'm serious. And then I'm starting a new unit with a new play, with a new film, with new readings and research, and I hope you like it because I planned it very hardcore, so you would have something interesting as we go into the summer months. So I'm on the board's website for now. We'll get my board person out there, and let's look at our vocabulary. I'm going to also do grammar today, so get used to doing a little bit of more work. Your holiday is over. It's time to go back to work.
What happened with chiseling?
Right now I haven't done any writing in my own life. I've been busy. My wife's not feeling well. My mother sold her house. Yes, sir. Yes. Back to the tea. Order a teapot here? All right, let's go. Next word. Okay? So far, so good? I got another brother. I was actually triplets. We don't usually speak in those terms. I got a brother, Barney Edwards. He's still out there somewhere, federal warrant and everything. Not sure. I don't know. I can't go there. That's why, I carry a 32 concealed in an ankle holster, in case he ever shows up. And then there's the ghost, Frankie, that won't leave us alone. This is ridiculous. Pick those up, please. Next word, pugilist. P-U-G-I-L-I-S-T. Now that's a noun, that's a person. Some would argue that Muhammad Ali is the greatest pugilist of all time. Some people like Evander Holyfield. Some people like Mike Tyson. What's a pugilist? A boxer. Now, boxing is called the sweet science. Science of fighting. Pugilist is a boxer. Pugilism is the study of boxing. Pugilism is the scientific study of boxing. The techniques, the jabs and the uppercuts. Hey, about 100 years ago, if you were a fighter in the ring, they would call you a pug, because the P-U-G for pugilist. A pug is an old nickname for boxer. Next word. Querulous. Q-U-E-R-E-R-E-R. Q-U-E-R-U-L-O-U-S. Adjective. If it ends in O-U-S, it's an adjective always, no exception. I try to have a nice day, but once in a while you meet a querulous person, whether it be on the street or in the classroom, and then all of a sudden, nothing you do is ever good enough. This porridge is too cold. A querulous person. She's so querulous. Goldilocks. This porridge. Whatever porridge is. I'm guessing this milk-based whatever. This porridge is too hot. This porridge is too cold. I think that's pretty querulous of you to say. Picky. finder, nitpicker. I said nitpicker, right? Just careful, you gotta be careful in this day and age, stuff that comes out of the mouth of a 50-year-old white male in a Trump world. We'll edit that out later. Don't be so querulous, all right? Be agreeable. Next word. Retrospective. Ooh. Mr. Edwards, you're putting the band back together. Retrospectives. R-E-T. R-E-T. You write this one? Don't laugh if it's not funny. R-E-T-R-O-S-P-E-C-T-I-V-E, retrospective. Noun, adjective, whatever. Now, the opposite of retrospective is introspective. So what's the difference between introspective and retrospective? All right, which one? Retrospective. Therefore, what's introspective? No, that would be prospective. You ever been introspective? You ever felt the weight of the world on your shoulders and you had to go somewhere quiet and be introspective? Okay, introspective is soul searching, looking inward, looking inside you. And what you just said is correct about retrospective. Retrospective means to look into the past. Hey, if I went to a retrospective film festival, what types of films would I be watching if I was you? Yeah, films that were made years ago. Rambo, Platoon, The Terminator. That would be retrospective for my grandmother. We have to take her up first. We'll edit that out.
That's what editing says.
Next word. Reiterate. R-E-I-T-E-R-T-E-R-T-E-R-A-T-E. Reiterate. You got that spelled correctly? Don't forget to dot that I. Okay, if I gotta reiterate to tell you what reiterate means, but let me first reiterate what reiterate means. Okay, let me reiterate. Okay, slow down. Reiterate me, let me reiterate. If I'm gonna, obviously reiterate means to repeat. I would like, through the drive-thru window at McDonald's, I would like Big Mac, large fry. Could you repeat that, right? Let me reiterate my order. All right? I want a Big Mac, 750 calories. I want a Jumbo Coke, supersized that, at 440 calories. And I want the supersized. I'd like to take it about 5,000 calories per meal. That way I know I won't be hungry later. Right? How many words is that? 4? I can't think of the 5th word. I must start with an I. Oh, I hate when I have to go to the notes. Oh, what was the word I had planned for you? Recompense. R-E-C-O-M-P-E-N-S-E. I'm not going to say anything, but one of you is dressed like a Japanese geisha. Look it up.
Oh,
Arigato. I'm not going to say who it is.
Cynthia.
I'm not saying another word. Domo arigato.
For real?
Hey, that's racist just because he looks Japanese. Just
Okay, Vaughn, what is it? Oh.
That is so not true. They were court ladies that ushered in princes that dressed refined. They were sophisticated women. They were.
We'll edit that out, Mr. Edwards.
53 cash. If you tell me what was the name of the prostitute and the catcher in the rye, 4 seconds, 3. You don't remember when he meets the prostitute in the hallway of the hotel? Her name was Sunny. Remember Sunny was there? And what was the pimp's name? Maurice the pimp. Let's go to Latin. There will be no recompense here. I bought a bunch of DVDs. Why would anybody buy DVDs today? I just purchased. What's something that you buy that you can buy on the internet? I just.
The knife you
I'm going to go with a different definition of recompense. Hopefully, recompense has 2 meanings. You can give recompense, like if I go to the store, I'm giving recompense to the person that I'm buying my goods and services from. So in one way, recompense means payment, but recompense can also mean this. I got straight A's on the honor roll, and my parents, as a recompense, gave me a reward. Gave me a brand new Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, no, if it was white people, it would be BMWs. Ask Katisha. Well, she's probably driving a Nissan. We're going to have to edit that out. That's not, we can't put that. No, we have to burn these tapes.
Wait, he's recording it?
We're making a documentary feature for HBO.
I said drugs.
We're going to call it School Loops instead of Fruit Loops.
Sex. Bloopers at the end?
You got your single syllable word on
I have a
for posterity. Remember posterity? All right, next Talianis. L-E-X, new word, T-A-L-I-O-N-E-S. Now, as Lewis pointed out, lex talionis, lex means law in Latin. As Lewis pointed out, lex talionis is the law of the jungle known as an eye for an eye. But it's the most misunderstood law in human history. Let me explain why. In the ancient villages and tribes, let's go back 2,300 years BC. Let's go back 4,300 years. 2,300 years BC is 2,300 years before the birth of Christ. So 4,300 years ago. Because survival was so difficult, people were dying in great quantity. If anything threatened the community, they would kill you. You know how they say, if somebody looks at your wife with lust, poke out their eye? Poke out his or her eye? Well, in the ancient tribes, if somebody looked at your wife funny, they would kill you. You know how they say if somebody steals, cut off their hand? Well, 4,000 years ago, if somebody stole, they would kill you. You know how they say, pull out their teeth? If somebody said something slanderous against you, they would kill you. We had no moral compass. We had no way of saying right is right and wrong is wrong. We only had life and death, and people were dying in great quantity at the age of 16. from disease, and we didn't have good agriculture and war. So the biblical code came down and said, no, you got it all wrong. If somebody looks at your wife funny, don't kill them. Poke out their eye. Let the punishment fit the crime. You've heard that. Let me reiterate. Let the punishment fit the crime. If somebody stole a loaf of bread from the bread depository, cut their hand off. Here's what you don't know. This law was made to improve a previous law. Don't kill everything that makes you afraid. Just take off a limb or two. We were trying to evolve from animals that kill at will. The cat kills the mouse, the cheetah kills the elk. We were trying to evolve a little bit, but not a lot. You know what Mahatma Gandhi said? An eye for an eye, and the whole world is blind. And you know what Bart Simpson said? That's not true. I'm only blind in one eye. So anyway, that's the second law. The first law is we kill like animals, without any conscience. The second law is we kill according to the crime, cut the hand off for the thief. The third law would be the law of forgiveness or turning the other cheek. That one still is to be determined. But you really want to explain violence in this world? They just killed somebody 2.5 blocks from my house, 3600 West Schubert, on Sunday evening in broad daylight. Made the news. You really want to wonder why we're so violent? Yeah, we're talking about the economics and poverty and racism, I get that. But we are animals. We happen to be human beings, but we still are animals, and we used to kill like animals before we were told not to by a higher power. Does any of this make sense to you? People say an eye for an eye is this outdated code. It's no longer practiced, or is it? It really is. It was actually meant to improve upon something that was far worse. All right, now here's what I want to do. I want to add a special type of grammar that will help you considerably if you follow my model. Yes, you're going to write on the topic of lex talionis, use your vocab, but I'm only going to have you write 2 sentences right now, because I'm going to show you 4 models of a more complicated sentence structure, but you have to be really smart to get it. Am I fair so far? Now, I already put the board notes on the board earlier today, okay? This is called a subjunctive. Now, the subjunctive is more complicated than how you normally write, but it works just like prepositional phrases. Now, where are those wonderful award-winning notes? My notes got good. All right, here we go. I'm going to make a believer out of you. And by the way, definitely on the ACT or SAT, I don't care how you look at it. Now, pretty please, with sugar on top, with nuts and cherries, can I use the term prepositional phrase here? Yeah. Can I say, if a prepositional phrase begins a sentence, I have a comma in my future? Can I say, at the edge of the riverbed, comma, I found a good fishing pole? Did we not go over that at least 7 times? The subjunctive works just like prepositional phrases. There are about 7 to 10 subjunctive words in English. What is a subjunctive? It's just a transition word. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you 3, 4, 5 different ways of approaching this, and one of them will have to make sense, okay? Even to the Japanese geisha girl who doesn't speak any English, okay? Right? Just say arigato. Okay. Serious focus now, because this is our bread and butter. I'm going to give you 4 subjunctives. Watch this magic trick. With the permission of Mr. Houdini, I want to show you one magic trick. Can I say Billy Pilgrim traveled through time, period? Either be confident or say you don't know. Can I say in writing on my old typewriter, Billy Pilgrim traveled through time, period? Yeah. Why? Of course I can. Why? Because I have the three ingredients of a sentence. Noun, Billy Pilgrim. Verb, traveled through time, complete thought. But if I add the subjunctive, which is a transition word, all of a sudden, what is missing? As Billy Pilgrim traveled through time, what's missing now? The complete thought. Therefore, I put a comma, then I have to complete the thought. As Billy Pilgrim traveled through time, he remembered the war. Can I say the first part of the sentence is a dependent clause, and the second part of the sentence is an independent clause? Can I say dependent and independent clause here, true, yes or no? And if so, what's the difference? Here's where sophomores get stuck. That's why God makes junior year in Miss Chopek, because this is where you get stuck. Let's review. A dependent clause only has a noun and a verb, does not have a complete thought. An independent clause has a noun, verb, and a complete thought. An independent clause is also a sentence. It's right there, folks. You just forgot. It's right there. Let's review. Let me reiterate. A dependent clause has a noun, verb, but no complete thought. An independent clause has noun, verb, complete thought, therefore it's also a sentence. It's just called an independent clause, but it's really a sentence, I promise you. Watch. As Billy Pilgrim traveled through time, dependent clause, no complete thought. Therefore, I need a comma. If I can't complete my thought, I need a comma. And then I put the independent clause, period. So your first subjunctive, pop quiz. If I'm using the term subjunctive, functions like a preposition, what is the subjunctive in sentence one? What word or words are the subjunctive? Let's review. If I write a prepositional phrase, at the edge of the riverbank, what's the preposition in that phrase? At. If I write a subjunctive phrase, as Billy Pilgrim traveled through time, what's the subjunctive? As. As. One S. Do you really? Every chance you get, huh? Every single chance you get on earth. All right, never mind. The next subjunctive, therefore, is since. Since Billy Pilgrim traveled through time, comma, he learned the ways of the Tralfamadorians. Hey, $50,000 cash, money. Don't forget how much you owe me. I need you to be smart now. Because you make the same mistake and you make me look bad to Mr. Arabian. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. This sentence has one grammatical error in it. What is it? Damn sophomores. What? This sentence has one grammatical mistake in it. What is it? I guarantee there's a mistake there. It's the second week, September, I spent umpteen hours on concrete, proper, abstract nouns, collective nouns. The T in Tralfamadore is not capitalized. Tralfamadore is a culture, a people, another planet, should be capitalized. That's just a retrospective look at grammar. Just don't bring out the pugilist in me. Acacia, whoever, geisha girl, is this making sense? No. Stop speaking English. Speak your native culture here. We're not Trump racists. Just arigato. Okay. Okay? All right. Here's what I want you to do for 10 minutes. And then we're going to start the lesson on the next play. For 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes, I want you to use the next two subjunctives. And I want you to write proper sentences that require comma use on Google Classroom under the title Lex Talionis. If you're a rocket scientist, you'll write on the topic of Lex Talionis and use at least one vocab word per sentence. I want you to start your sentence with the word if and see if it takes you into the wonderful land of commas. Then I want you to write a sentence starting with although and see where that takes you as well. Would you pretty please, for the love of Mike's lemonade stand, where the lemonade costs 5 cents, would you please do that for you? And then we'll start a real unit on real literature, and we'll destroy some people's lives in the process, I promise. Do that now. And by the way, for one time, would everybody do it? Well, then work as a partner, put 2 names on the paper, Einstein. Go ahead and do that now. No, just don't tape it. We're going to do the whole class because we need 1 class period of documentation just to certify that we're slightly bent. Go around now and get some action photos of the class working for 7 minutes. Just focus on the class.
All right.
It's their learning that I need to document.
All right, so I'm gonna cut the video here and I'll put it together in the program.
Okay.